Hello Physical Fiends, it is Jordan here with some nice discounts that have caught my eye, mainly from PlayAsia. Well, actually only at PlayAsia. Suddenly they've had a spat of really obscure import discounts, and I want to stress this is obscure stuff. Curiosities, quirky releases, collection fillers that most people wouldn't look at for their normal price, but discounted very heavily, they are worth considering, and maybe a nice fun addition to your collection. Remember that PlayAsia currently have free shipping on orders over $99. That was up until June the 16th, but they've just extended it to June the 19th to give people a bit more time. All prices are correct at the time of me making this video, but please be aware that the way PlayAsia do these discounts, they only allocate a certain amount of stock to the sale, and once the allocation is sold out, the listing will jump back up to its original price. It is a complicated situation that has to do with different stock from different suppliers, but just keep that in mind. If you click the link below in the description and pinned comment, and it is not the price I say, that is why. I am sorry. And finally, I also have a discount code for PlayAsia. If you click one of my links down below, you can get 5% off with my code Jordan2026. However, if an item is in a special promo, like the weekly discount special, or in clearance, which some of the games included in this video may be, then the code will not be eligible. But you can try. Any purchase via my link and my code supports both of us, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Before we get into the Japanese and Asian releases, let's look at a couple of European exclusive titles that maybe Americans want to pick up. Terracotta. This is a gorgeous looking action adventure game from a top-down perspective with a heavy focus on puzzles. It's garnered a bit of a comparison to the Legend of Zelda series in an ancient Chinese style setting, with the theme being the first emperor of China and his terracotta warriors. PlayAsia have the standard edition for just $16. Kemono Heroes, another European import exclusive. This is a game that is back from the dead. It was an eShop exclusive title for many years before being pulled by the publisher. However, later it switched publisher who brought it back, enhanced it, and finally gave it a physical release. A side-scrolling action game with a nice focus on multiplayer co-op. It is only $20. Alright, let's move on to Japan and Asia. Not all of the games included have English, but I will still state when that is the case, which is the case for the first game. Illvelo Swamp Happy Together. This is a shmup where language is not necessarily needed, although with this developer, having Google Translate on your phone on standby will probably be handy, because these are quirky releases and sometimes they have weird clearance goals that are stated on the side of the screen. But there is also a mode that is different and plays more normally and does have partial English to help out. Really very quirky, and $17, it's definitely worth experimenting with for shmup fans. Aniki, Bakuretsu, Rantou also does not have English, but this is a Aniki game and a fighting game at that. English couldn't be any less relevant. This is not going to go toe-to-toe with, say, Street Fighter or the likes, but if you want a comical, nonsensical Super Famicom fighting game experience, then this probably is worth a punt at $17 just for the laughs alone. Detective Dotson is an import exclusive that does play in English, and this is an adventure game, point and click adjacent. It's a nicely received title, and I believe it was made in India, which is something a bit different. You are a former Bollywood actor turned detective, and you use your melodramatic and dancing skills to solve cases, probably, I don't really know. At $18 is a cheap price for an import exclusive physical release. Earth Defense Force 2 is just $14 at PlayAsia. Now, again, there is no English here. However, at this point in the franchise, I personally believe it is barely needed. I bought a digital copy from the Japanese eShop when it got discounted last, and I played a good few levels without trying to read a single word of it. It's EDF. Reading is for morons. You can have such a fun time with this title just blasting bugs, and $14 is definitely worth an import even if there is no English. Sainan Tantei. This will not be high on many visual novel fans' list of must-import titles, but it is a very obscure one that not many people will have. It starts off strong as you go through 5 cases as a run-down, hard-boiled failing detective, but yeah, it does lose its way once you get into the second case. There's some Cthulhu nonsense causing problems around town, and it will play in English. $21 is not a bad price for an import exclusive with English. Georifters. This is $11, and don't judge a book by its cover because the game is a decent amount of fun despite the horrible visuals. And by the way, if you watch my delisted video games video, then you may remember that this game is on there. The only way to purchase this game now is to get this physical release. $11. That is the price. Like, if you were waiting on it, it's here. The wait is finished. $11. Abyss of the Sacrifice. I believe this has been a bit cheaper before from my memory, but it's been a while since it's been discounted. It's currently at $19, which is a perfectly acceptable price for a visual novel / escape room puzzle adventure game that's kind of infuriatingly complicated, so one for the brain boxers who really like to test their deduction and logic skills. Football Manager Touch 2026, the latest game in the franchise. It's weird that the Switch physicals are import exclusives, and these regularly get delisted from digital stores. This one will do in like 6 months' time, I am sure, and no doubt this obscure physical will be difficult to get a hold of if you actually want it. I don't think it'll be expensive, just a pain to get. But at $22, this is a super good price if you want to do me a favor and bring Sheffield Wednesday to Champions League glory. I know you can do it. Fuga, Melodies of Steel 1, 2, and 3. These 3 games seem to have a small permanent discount. The first 2 games are now just $22 a pop, and the third game is $25. Maybe this is in response to Limited Run taking pre-orders for a North American version, but those were $35 a pop, so these play in English just fine. Sure, they lack the minor costume DLC, but who truly cares about those? These are fantastic games, now for an extra fantastic price. Only a small discount, but definitely worth it. RPG games with a very strong narrative. Ancient Weapons Holly has a mild permanent discount as well to $23. This is a dungeon crawling action game that looks right up my alley. Now, reviews are not great for it, but if you check out the trailer, maybe some gameplay, and I'm sure it will appeal to like some of you out there. The discount is small but appealing if you were on the fence for it. Symphonic Rain is only $23 as well, and this is a visual novel and an actually good one too. Finally in English, it has very melancholy overtones to it, mainly thanks to the endless rain in the setting, but it is a meaty visual novel with very, very high reviews, lots of endings. It's really good, and $23 is definitely worth it. However, I do wonder if this is eligible for free shipping, since from what I remember, the contents of the physical, it was pretty chunky. It came with some extra stuff. I don't know if this version is a re-release with only a standard physical, but you'll have to try and see, hopefully. Gorsd is one of the wackiest import exclusives out there. Genuinely hilarious cover and a booklet that you get with it. I have this myself. It's just funny in a way that most games just aren't, even when they try to be. The game itself is also a bit weird. It's an arcade-style game at heart, a competitive action game that has you destroying yourself as much as you destroy your enemy. One of the weirder but still good imports out there, and it's just $22. That time, I got Reincarnated as a slime, ISEKAI Chronicles. The Japanese physical release, which will play in English, is down to $27, which makes it one of the more premium games in this video. But that's sometimes the case when there's a licensed anime tie-in slapped over an average side-scrolling action RPG with mildly disappointing town-building elements. It's not bad or anything, but it's definitely geared towards fans of the franchise rather than the average gamer. Now, for collectors, this Japanese version may not be the best version to purchase. It does play in English just fine, but there is a Southeast Asian release out there that's got an English cover, which may fit within your collection a bit more nicely. But if you don't care about that like myself, this Japanese release at $27 is much, much easier on the wallet. Radirgy 2. Just like Illvelo Swamp from the same developer that featured early in this video, this one does not have English. Or maybe I should say, they don't have English, because this is actually a double pack of Radirgy 1 and 2. two more shmups, where it is good to have Google Translate on your phone on standby, but definitely quirky and enjoyable, and this double pack is only $19. Now before I get further into this video, if you are new here, then hit that subscribe button. It will be the best thing you do today. Not only do you get discount videos like this, but you get new game announcements, you get alerts on rare game reprints or restocks, you get opinion pieces, and videos like this. If you like owning physical video games, this is the place to be. Touhou Sky Arena Matsuri Climax, this is $27. Now PlayAsia do not state anything about languages on their listing, but I believe that's just passed them by because the Japanese eShop does state that it does have English. And this is an arena combat game set in the Touhou fan franchise, but because of the lack of English stated by PlayAsia, that makes it one of the most overlooked imports, and $27 could be enough to make it worth an import to add to your collection. Road 59, Shin, Jidai, Ninkyou, Tokku, I'm not saying all of that. This is in the same boat. For some reason, PlayAsia do not state anything about languages here. However, the Japanese eShop does state that this does have English. There are not many reviews out there for this visual novel, however, the ones that it does have are quite negative. So it's really only a purchase if you want all games with English on the Switch, and it's only $20. Okay, the final bunch of games are games that do not have English, and the lack of will probably impact your enjoyment. Not completely, but more than the games I've mentioned already. However, I think from a personal perspective, I like their quirkiness. They're definitely super unique to Japan, and there's still enjoyment or gameplay to be had if you are feeling adventurous. Please keep that in mind. Super Real Mahjong Love 2 to 7. Man, I've wanted this collection in English since the day it came out in Japan all those many years ago. A collection of arcade Mahjong titles. Okay, the super had to be taken out, but you know, sometimes the tease is better than the actual event. We've all disappointed someone in real life, right? Right? There's no way this would be in English. And if you can actually play Mahjong by the Japanese rule set, I'm sure you can probably get the tease and enjoyment out of it with all the games included in this package. And at $27, that is a much better price than what it originally released for. Gekisou Ban Star does not have English, but it is a rhythm game, so at $16, maybe it's worth picking up. I considered putting this in the other category, but I don't know how much the Japanese gets in the way. Maybe worth considering. $16. Soaring Sky Pretty Cure Soaring Puzzle Collection. Now, I actually own this already because I knew it didn't have English, but they are puzzle games. How could Japanese only get in the way of that? Well, I've not actually had the time to play it to find out, but I'm pretty sure most of the games in this package should be playable in some way, and it is only $11. That's almost bordering on free. Rasen, Reijoh, Spiral, Ojo-sama, Chohatsu no Makina. This game wasn't on my radar even from years of covering imports, but I just saw the title, like just now, a listing on PlayAsia. I saw it, $17. I don't recognize the cover art, so I'll click and see what it's all about, and it seems to be an action platformer game, which surely should be playable in some capacity. It does seem there is a bit of story, dialogue, and some menus, but maybe it's worth a punt if you're looking for something really obscure to add to your collection, and $17, I'm considering it myself just to see what it's all about. And those are the obscure imports that have caught my eye over at PlayAsia. If you want to import any of them, please do so via the links below. I thank you from the bottom of my heart if you use those links. That supports me and the channel in the best way possible, and I hope you all have a fantastic shopping day. Take care.